Pmpkin is an app, and it's designed to essentially connect people. I know that sounds like a buzzword, but what we mean by that is that we're trying to increase people's socializing. That's the general premise of Pmpkin. It's an app. It's designed to essentially reduce the friction of socializing. So what is Pmpkin? Could you go back to Pmpkin? What is? So this first came around when I personally was having a big issue of, if I wanted to set up a hangout with my friends, I might text somebody on a group chat, and someone would say, oh, I can do this time, someone would throw it another time. It would be confusing. We would not know when everyone could meet, and someone would always bail on us, the day before. It's a hectic, chaotic system. And so at Pmpkin, we're doing something different. We're instead syncing everyone's calendars together and suggesting times that work and suggesting places that are mutually close to everybody. So that's the first part of Pmpkin, which is reducing the friction of hanging out. And the second part of Pmpkin is suggesting new things, suggesting new places to go, new hangouts to happen that wouldn't have otherwise happened. And we do this by using APIs that gather local data about places and suggest new things to the user every week for things that they can do. And another thing is that, could you move to the next slide? So like I said, Pmpkin works using two different backend methods. The first one is by gathering the user's calendar data, and actually these are also inputs part of their calendar data on estimates of a weekly basis. We sync that data and we suggest times that work for everyone. The second method, like I said, is through scraping local APIs and suggesting places and things that will actually be fun to do for the user. Go to the next slide. So Pmpkin is very grounded in entrepreneurship. I actually started Pmpkin in an entrepreneurship class at my old school. We conducted over 50 in-depth user interviews, with all kinds of people about this project, especially focusing on teenagers, because that's our main demographic. We have over 100 people on our current beta list, and we have 5 dedicated high school developers, Catherine and I being 2 of them. So our current team is Catherine, she's right here. Say hi, Catherine.
Hi.
Tully, he goes to Bush School, Washington. Myself, and then 2 developers in California who I met in California when I used to live there. Nicholas, who's a junior at Menlo Atherton High School, and Bodie, who's a sophomore at the Nueva School in California. And those are both Bay Area schools.
Awesome people.
Yeah. So our code base is in our front end we use Ionic, which is a mobile framework that uses Angular to develop apps for both iOS and Android phones. Our backend we use Google Cloud and Firebase for managing backend databases regarding the users and storing data about those users. And then we manage everything using Git. So we have a repository that allows us to sync data between different developers working on the project, which is what Git is used for.
And Ionic is great because it really allows you to combine web programming and app programming. So if you're interested in both, this is a great way to merge those interests.
Yeah, definitely. So what we're looking for is we're looking to bring on a few new developers who are passionate about computer science and interested in mobile development or web development. And a lot of people, when they think of a mobile app, they think of just the designing of the app, when there's so much more that goes onto it. And a lot of it has to do with graph theory and things like, how can we maximize the number of user connections that there are. So there's a ton of different ways you can get involved in this project if you're interested in doing it. And what we're really looking for is someone who's willing to invest their time into the project. You don't need specific skills if you're interested in computer science and have some basic understanding of computer science. What Catherine's currently going through is learning Ionic and working with the team so that she can help us in the actual development of the project.
Yeah, I can fully attest to that. If you don't know Angular or Ionic, totally fine. There are courses you can take, and Darrow has a process set up for people who are new, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Would you move to the next slide? So the timeline is usually around 2 to 3 months of learning. So we go through this boot camp of developing, and Catherine's currently coming out of the end of that boot camp, where we go through from essentially JavaScript all the way to Ionic, and along the way you learn the best practices that real developers in Silicon Valley are using. And so if this is something that you're interested in, this is a great way to get started in it. I actually learned a lot of the stuff that I now use for Pmpkin through a startup called Stria that some seniors involved me in when I was a freshman. And I actually have the t-shirt for Stria. It was a project designed to help blind people by developing this band that informs them when they are essentially veering off of sidewalks. And that was a project that gave me a lot of in-depth experience on dealing with users, on developing projects, on managing my time properly, and this could be something for you all to develop, to utilize your skills in Pmpkin and develop them. Yeah. So Catherine, you want to talk about your current experience?
Yeah, we already kind of talked about it, but basically what happens is you join the project and then you want to get familiar with Ionic and Angular because that's what the project is coded in, and so it's important to know that. And then I have yet to see what it's like to actually code, but I'm sure it'll be great. The language itself is pretty powerful. I'm actually really impressed with the UI features, so if you're interested in that, that could be an appeal as well. So yeah, great experience. I would recommend it for any of you.
Yeah, and so the current way to sign up, could you go to the next slide, please? There should have been an email to all of you through the CS Club, a link to our website, pmpkin.app, pmpkin.app. It works on both mobile and web browsers, and an application form. It's a simple Google form. It's pretty simple, just asking you some basic questions about your experience and stuff. And that's all you need to do, and then we'll schedule and talk with you if you're interested in joining and how that could happen. And yeah, thank you. Do you all have any questions or anything? If not, you can follow us on Pmpkin app, the Instagram handle. And yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to hear us.
Thank you.